also tonight, it's a huge week for Alfie Moon in EastEnders. And ahead of tonight's dramatic episode, Shane Richie will be here to talk about his emotional prostate cancer storyline. Still to come, ahead of tonight's episode of EastEnders, we'll be speaking to Shane Richie about Alfie Moon's emotional prostate cancer storyline. Now, Bill Turnbull did so much to raise awareness of prostate cancer, and EastEnders are hoping to do the same with their latest storyline involving Alfie Moon. And here to tell us more is Shane Richie.
Oh.
Hey, Shane.
Welcome to the show, Shane.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
It's lovely to be here. You know, really important subject that we're talking about here, Shane. Why is it so important for EastEnders to kind of highlight stories like these?
Well, I mean, EastEnders have had a history of doing this, you know. Well, I mean, I'll give you a quick briefing of how I got involved in the storyline. I got a call from Chris Clenshaw, who's our exec producer on EastEnders, called up to the office. And when you get called up to the office, you're always thinking, we're going to storylines. So I kept thinking, this could be Cat and Alfie, something to do with that. And he said to me, he said, listen, Shane, sit down. I want to propose a story to you. How would you feel about your character getting prostate cancer? And here's the thing, absolutely true. I don't think I've told many people this. My wife knows. 2 days before that meeting, I went for a health check for prostate cancer. Yeah, only because it was on my radar. I'd had a couple of friends. I'm getting to that age now where I kind of was starting to get reminded by friends of mine, and a very close friend of mine who I've known since I was 16 went through prostate cancer. Thankfully, he's out the other side. I remember thinking, he's not that much older than me.
Yeah.
And you know, I've got a young family, so I thought, right, I had a couple of days off from EastEnders. I went along for a check. Thankfully, I was all right. But 2 days later, like I said, had the meeting. He said, how do I feel about doing this story? Now, that was back in Easter holidays. So we started working on the storyline, or certainly Alfie, when he starts talking about his prostate cancer, we film 6 to 8 weeks ahead. So what people are seeing out at home is stuff that we did just before we broke up for the summer. Yeah. But like you're saying, EastEnders has a track record. You know, they did it with the Lola with the brain tumour.
Yeah, that's right, and that was fantastic.
Yeah, and I think the strength of BBC, and certainly EastEnders, when they take on board subjects like this, they really do their homework. And they invite me, and that gentleman you saw on that VT there, a gentleman called Jonathan, I spent an afternoon with him.
Did you?
Yeah. And he sat down with me, and at the end of it, I was a mess. And I remember coming out going, this is such an important story to tell. And the fact that they gave that particular storyline, EastEnders, to a character like Alfie Moon, because I think people are familiar with Alfie over 21 years. Maybe doing it with another character might not have had the same impact, I don't know, but thankfully to Chris Clenshaw, who trusted me with that story, I'm thankful. And to see how it plays out now, because of course, you know, doing a story around prostate cancer, you know, EastEnders, it's essentially still a drama. So there is going to be a drama around Alfie's illness, always, whether it's to do with Phil Mitchell, with Linda, or with Kat. But the essence of the story is seeing how this particular man, Alfie Moon, deals with his journey. And
that will resonate with so many people, you know, and it'll have a really positive effect, guaranteed. Hope so. You mentioned, you know, the other drama around it. You mentioned Phil, you mentioned Kat. I mean, will this wedding go forward? We don't know. Will they, won't they?
Oh, you're cutting out. I've lost you, hello.
No, it's 20 years, I can't believe, since Alfie crashed Andy's wedding, Andy and Kat.
That's right. It's flown by.
You know, I mean, there's still a little place for Kat and Alfie's heart, isn't there? We've got a question.
Oh, have you?
Hang on now.
Is this from Jessie?
No. Mel wants to know, any chance of a reunion?
What, of Kat and Alfie?
Yeah.
So here's... OK.
Come on.
Right, no. At the moment, you know, every time myself, because me and Jessie have known each other, you know, for 21 years, and we've worked together in theatre, we've done shows together, of course, we worked in Ireland, in Redwater, and every time we do a scene together, we keep getting notes from upstairs saying, don't look at each other, in case we give any clues away. We don't want to see the relationship you used to have. So every time we're doing a scene, Jessie just might brush past me and do that. I'm going, stop, cut, you can't touch me, OK? Don't look at me like that. But who knows? Next year, something may happen. But we don't know just yet. But at the moment, Alfie and Linda are very close.
Yeah, but that won't last. Come on.
Alfie. Shane, thank you very much.
Classic. It's usually
That's
me
all right,
that
Mr.
does that.
Lineker. Thank you very much.
It's a big compliment.
I know, it is. Shane, thank you very much.
Thank you,
And
JJ.
you can see Shane in EastEnders straight after us, 7:30 on BBC One and iPlayer.
Please welcome Kevin McLeod.
Thank you. Sorry, we were just talking about prostate cancer.
Sorry.
Very quickly.
Yeah.
Men's health check. Then we were talking.
Yeah,
We both-
you say
we
you
both
go
do
on
it.
every 5 years.
I have what's called a digital examination. When I say digital, that's digital.
Yeah.
But you were just saying you don't need that.
Well, no. If you do your research now, it's all about the PSAs and your blood tests.
Yeah.
And, you know, go along, speak to your GP, and see there are ways of detecting.
Yeah.
And this, talking about it.
Yeah.
All the time. I
absolutely.
think
In front
blokes-
of 4 million people. Why not?
Blokes should always talk about it. Sorry
Definitely.
to
Yeah, no,
crash
we
your time.
should. No, we should.
But
We should. Yeah.
we should also get back to the water system. Because I want to know what happens. Now,
Yeah, the
what
water
we saw there, right? I mean, fantastic building and lots of possibilities. Can you give us any clue as to what might happen? Do they dig down? Do they go up?
Well, they dig down and around, and then they cover over with earth again. So,
Fine.
and so there's an extension. There's also a kind of reinvention of the old structure, and it's a story of. It's brilliant. It's a story of love and loss and bereavement and building, and ultimately it's triumphant. It's redemptive. It's one of our best programmes because it's got all human life in it. You know, and it's a great film. Yeah, great story.
We've watched Grand Designs for years. Love it, absolutely love it. And sustainability has been a big part of it for many series in terms of like people preparing for the future, and that's a common theme throughout this series as well, isn't it?
Yeah. It's funny because when we first started, we'd make a series, and there would be one kind of fringy eco program on the end with a house made out of dog lick, and now it's like it's in every project one way or the other, and. There's no more dog lick. Instead, there's high tech, or there's caring for birds and bees and trees and biodiversity, or there's a deep dive into kind of green eco living, or zero energy homes. We've got one this series, which is a house which is being built, which powers itself and can power 4 other houses.
Wow.
Alongside it. Now, that is the future.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do they make money off that?
Well, if you wanted to, you could. Yeah, I mean, of
Well,
course,
you're selling your
You
energy.
are
Why wouldn't you?
hilarious.
Yeah, well,
it's a smart thing to
Looking
do.
out to
You
make
can
a
sell
little
back.
buck.
It's a smart thing to do.
It's a smart thing to do.
Yeah.
You can
It
sell
is.
back to the grid if you want, of course, and you can also sell to your neighbours if you feel
There you go.
particularly mercenary. Yeah.
I'll charge you double.
I can't believe that the show's been going for more than 20 years. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
And, your end pieces to camera, or they are, they're famous, aren't they? But I always wonder, which is the one, and I know this is difficult, but which is the one that Kevin McLeod would most likely live in?
It's really hard because they're all so beautiful, and I don't want to offend any of them, and there are over 200 families that we've kind of filmed over the years. But there's one which I hold a special place for, and that is this project in Northern Ireland, which is Patrick Bradley's house that he's an architect, and he built his house out of container ships. It's it's on the screen now, and it's a beautiful thing. And you wouldn't think that was shipping containers.
No.
He's a great man. But one reason why it's my favourite is because his mother is in the film. She's a farmer's wife. This is on the family farm. And I interviewed Anne, and I said to her, what is it that you hope for Patrick here in this project? And she said, oh, Kevin, she said, I just want my lovely, darling son to find a fabulous wife. And she did this to camera. It's something you say to people, don't look at the camera. Yeah. She did this to camera. It was a kind of national appeal she made on broadcast television. And so all these women wrote to Patrick.
Wow.
And the outcome is he married one of them.
Oh, that's it.
And
We're
they
in.
have a baby, a daughter, and they're living in that house.
Kevin, tell me they've put a railing on the stairs.
Yeah. To meet building regulations, if for no other reason.
Oh,
yes,
brilliant.
yeah.
Fine.
We've got some questions for you, Kevin, as well. Gemma wants to know, what's the biggest mistakes that people make when building their dream home?
I think possibly the biggest mistake is to confuse space with a well-designed building. So you can build a really big space, but it doesn't mean anything. You can live in a warehouse if you like. But actually what's really clever is when people kind of wrangle storage and light and views and all that kind of stuff out of a small building, and that's beautiful because that's efficient and that's proper design.
Proper.
Proper. Yeah.
Shane's delighted you're here, by
Yeah.
the way, Kevin. Apparently, pretty handy around the house, aren't you,
built my own
Shane? Tell us
house.
a bit more.
I built my own house.
With your hands?
No, I
you?
didn't really. I changed the plug on my wife's hairdryer a couple of weeks
I
ago.
knew it.
But it's kind of like the same thing almost, isn't it? No,
No.
I couldn't. I have had much admiration for people who get their hands dirty.
Do you know, and it's not for everyone. I mean, I've done bits and bobs, and I've tried it, and do you know, it is. Some people find it they've got the right mind for it, and
Yeah.
others just really can't cope with the stress.
Yeah.
And I've discovered
It's the stress side of it.
It is very, and the idea, particularly when even if you rip your kitchen out, you know, you just suddenly you've lost the heart of the home, and you can't cook and you can't provide for those around you. You know, it's amazing actually what the really basic things that we all need in our lives.
Not for everybody, is it?
If there's a celebrity version, don't get Shane.
Yeah, definitely not.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you very much. And the new series of Grand Design starts next Wednesday, the 27th of September at 9 o'clock on Channel 4.
And Grand Designs Live is on at the NEC in Birmingham from the 4th to the 8th of October and comes to London as well next May.
Thanks all of our guests tonight, Shane, Kevin and to Matt as well.
Roman and I are going to be back tomorrow with Nick Knowles and Strictly Stars Annabelle Croft and Johannes Radebe ahead of their first live show on Saturday. Have a good evening. Bye-bye.
Good night.